from Columbia in high definition. This is WIS News 10 Awareness.
Known for being a positive performer, this comedian has a signature style getting rave reviews across the country. We'll introduce you to the homegrown Bowtie comic. And later, you probably recognize him from the NBC hit show The Voice. This performer has his roots right here in the Palmetto State. Meet the man behind The Voice, Delvin Choice. Thank you for joining us for Awareness. I'm your host, Megan Norman. Well, an entertainer born right here in South Carolina is self-proclaimed as refreshingly funny. He's putting a new spin on an industry known for its vulgarity. His jokes give you a feel-good kind of laugh, laced with humor and style. His name is Mike Goodwin, but you might know him better as the Bowtie Comic. And he's from Camden.
I'm proud to be from Camden. I'm proud to be from the South. Now, it's been a little hard on me these last couple of weeks, but I'm still proud to be from the South. But it wasn't always like that. Because as a teenager, I wanted to be from New York. Because people from New York got cool ways to tell you where they from. People from New York be like, yo, I'm from money earning Mount Vernon, son. I'm from the boogie down Bronx, son. I'm from do or die Bed-Stuy, son. I'm from Camden. What I'm supposed to say?
And I think the clip goes on to say you're from Cotton Picking Camden.
Collard green cooking Camden. Cornbread baking Camden, baby.
So how did this comic from Camden come to be?
I think because I need an outlet. I had all this funny ideas in my mind, and so you got to get on stage and share it with people.
And release it.
You have to.
So from what age did you know, okay, this is going to be my destiny. I'm going to pursue this professionally?
You know, Megan, I didn't think that I could become a comedian. How do you become a comedian from Camden, South Carolina? None of the greats. Cosby's not from Camden. Seinfeld's Camden. Bob Hope. You know, you go down the list and nobody comes from Camden. I don't even know, is there a comedian from Camden?
I don't know. You?
There was a void to be filled, so
Sure.
I filled the void. But yeah, I always knew I was funny, but in terms of getting on stage, I didn't know that was available to me.
Well, over the years, you have perfected your craft, still working on your craft, and part of your style is the bow tie.
Yes.
How did the bow tie come to be?
Well, the bow tie is just a natural flow. It's fluid. It's fluid for who I am. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a natural transition to my personality. You know, and one thing I wanted to do with comedy, I wanted to stand out. You know, so most comedians aren't really well dressed. You know, they have on some jeans, a t-shirt, and if they do have on a suit, they probably don't have on a tie. So the bow tie is my signature look that makes me stand out of the crowd. Well,
aside from your clothing style, another part of your style stands out too in the industry. And talk a little bit about this positive performer.
Yeah, you know, I'm clean. So, you know, you don't have to cover your kids' ears when I come on television. I'm family friendly, and I'm a Christian. So, I mean, a lot of my worldview or my perspective is from a Christian orientation.
Right. And do you pull in some of your Camden lifestyle, your Camden upbringing into it?
Yeah, all of that. My lifestyle, my family, nobody's safe. You know, if I worked with you're going to hear about yourself on stage. I mean, it doesn't matter. After this interview, I'll probably talk about
use me,
this
maybe?
interview at some point. The listeners or the viewers will see it. There's a young man, he's going to be playing a box later on in this interview. Not in my interview, but in the next segment. And I want to go and get a box.
Yeah, you might have to use him.
I bet you all the kids are going to go out and try to buy a box now. And,
well, why not?
Just try to get on TV to play the box. But it's not easy. It's not the regular box either. It's a souped up, it's very nice box.
Well, something for viewers certainly to look forward to. But let's talk a little bit about the kind of experience that your listeners can expect when they come out to one of your shows.
Well, first off, you expect to laugh. So don't come out here with your arms folded up, looking at me like I owe you money. Yeah, don't do that. People, you know, especially, you know, certain populations, they come with the attitude of make me laugh. You know, some people come, they're ready to laugh. They sit and they smile, but some folks like,
impress me.
You gonna make me laugh.
Right.
And so I've worked in front of those crowds a lot. I've worked a lot in front of those crowds, and so I've learned how to you know, make people laugh.
And what type of venues have you performed
Man,
in?
I've done it all. I've done churches, I've done clubs, I've done corporate events. I've performed outside when they had a festival going on. They had kids double dutching on this side. They had inflatables. They had folks playing checkers and basketball. And it was like, hey, you ready to do some comedy? I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Until y'all turn this inflatable off, I don't think this is a good idea.
Bit of a distraction.
All the
so to
time.
speak.
But, you know, folks like to just drop a comedian in. They don't even care. They just throw them in there. So I everywhere I've been, I mean, there hasn't been a venue. Now, I hadn't been in the adult clubs or anything like with people that's not clothed. I haven't been there.
Right, right. I would imagine not.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your personality. Obviously, you're very much a funny man, but I'm sure there are times where you don't feel like being very funny. Does that happen to you, and how do you work past that?
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things where folks are like, man, you live in your dream. And I am. I have a great life. I fly around, and I bring joy and laughter to people. But also, it's important for me to give myself laughter, to be in a, you know, I have a great family. I have a great support system. I have a great church. So I have a great life. I'm a happy person. You know, I think there's some statistics out there that say comedians are some of the most depressed individuals. Well, if you look at some of our lifestyles, then I can understand that, because some folks, they travel all the time.
Dave Chappelle, for example.
Exactly. Well, Dave, you know, he had a lot of pressure. He had, you know, go away to Africa for a little while, but he's back. He's back.
Yep, he is.
And so for me, I think it's important to fill myself up with joy. So what I'm giving to the audience is just the overflow.
Well, so what's your next step? Where do you see yourself going 5, 10 years down the line?
Oh, man, hopefully we'll continue to be a bigger name nationally. I've just auditioned for Off the Chain, which is Bounce TV, here locally with Rodney Perry. I also auditioned with Nephew Tommy. There was a show called Uncontrolled Comedy. So hopefully a lot more television appearances in the future.
And where can people see you in the near future?
At Walmart, typically I'm there on Thursdays getting milk and cereal.
Your performance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you
Although
can
I'm
go.
sure you'll perform for them in Walmart too.
No, I won't. I'll keep walking right by you. I'll say security. But no, you can go to comedian.com. And Mike Goodwin, I'm sorry. I don't even know what I just said.
Comedian.com.
Go to MikeGoodwin.com. I was trying not to say www because I used to say go to www.
That's too much to say.
Someone said don't say that anymore.
Yeah,
So go to comedian MikeGoodwin.com.
Mike Goodwin comedian, right?
Comedian MikeGoodwin.com.
Okay, we got it right. We'll have it on our Facebook
comedy
page.
on Twitter, you know, Instagram, all those things.
Right. Good. And so, are you happy with where you are now? Are you happy with your success?
Oh, yes, but I'm content, but always ambitious. I'm always looking, you know, to continue to hone my craft and to, you know, become funnier than the last time I've been on stage.
Right. And you talk a lot about your family. At least right now you've talked a lot about your family.
Oh, yes.
And your wife and your daughter. It kind of is a family affair to an extent because they have now become entrepreneurs, so to speak.
Exactly.
And they're kind of getting into their own vein and they're trying to explore a different type of business. And how proud are you of them?
I'm very proud. Anytime more income comes into the house, that's very,
that's a good thing.
That's a wonderful thing. It's an excellent thing. But yeah, my wife's a dynamic woman. She's outstanding, and her and my daughter have created this this need, and they've created this great barrette that folks are buying and they're marketing it, and so I'll let them talk about that here in a moment.
Right, and so there are these barrettes that, as you said, are really
They're
serving.
double face, yeah.
Right, they're double face, so they're serving a need in the community that
Exactly.
really hasn't been met as of yet.
Because what would happen, we would go pick her up from school. You know, my wife would get her ready, and then she would have her hair full of barrettes, and then when I would go and pick her up, half of the barrettes were gone. And then I knew that was bad for everybody.
Right.
Because when mama's not happy, the household's not happy.
Exactly. Well, let's bring in your wife and your daughter now, Rosalind and Gabby. Thank you both for being with me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Rosalind, how did this double-faced barrette come to be?
Wow, it actually happened after I went on Twitter and ran it, just like Mike mentioned, about fixing my daughter's hair and the barrettes falling off. A number of mothers started responding. My pastor happened to be online, saw the conversation going on, and just simply replied, "Sounds like a market you need to break into." I looked at it like, okay, I was just trying to blow off some steam. I wasn't trying to create a barrette, but I very, very greatly value the words that he speaks in my life. So we started praying about it and looking into it, and then 3 years later, we have the double-faced, double-snap barrette.
Right, and a lot of work, a lot of faith has gone into this
Yes.
venture.
Yes.
And because you are a working mother, I mean, you've got a lot on your plate, but you still manage to make time for the things that are most important. So what has this taught you and taught your daughter?
I believe and I pray that it's taught my daughter to persevere. This was nothing that was easy. We knew no one who had done anything like this before. So it's my desire that she learns now how to persevere and to be confident, and that she can do anything that she puts her mind to.
Now, Gabby, do you like your barrettes?
Yes.
What do you like about them?
They have two faces, and everyone can see the adorable design.
Yeah, they're very adorable. And I see you have them all over. Now, Rosalind, what's the next plan in terms of marketing this, and where can people find them? Are they in stores now?
Yeah, well, after July the 25th, 29 Walgreens stores will be carrying them in Georgia and South Carolina. You can find here in the Midlands stores in West Columbia, Lexington, Irmo, as well as St. Andrews. They will be carrying the bows. We'll have a meet and greet at the Walgreens at Lake Murray Boulevard on the 26th of July from 2 to 5. And then we're going to have a big play date on August the 1st at the YMCA Splash Pad. It was an idea that Gabrielle had to give back to the community.
Great. Well, thank you, Goodwin family, for being with us this morning. And we will have all of their contact information for Mike Goodwin's performances and the Gabby Bows on our Facebook page. Well, still to come on Awareness, he has a famous voice and is another local talent. Delvin Choice is in our studio next.
Seen a lot of things in this old world. When I touch them, they mean nothing, girl. Ooh, baby. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
A powerful, soulful voice with great range and versatility, Delvin Choice was featured on this past season of The Voice. He made it into the top 8, and many would agree that his career is just starting. Joining me now is Delvin Choice. Delvin, I love that song, Unchained Melody.
Thank you.
And I love a song for you that you also performed, your audition song.
Yeah. Unchained, we'll talk about Unchained Melody first. Unchained Melody was a song where I originally hated. I didn't want to sing the song.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because, see, my whole career on the show, it was spent by, like, them trying to figure out like what style of music I sing. Just because, like, they say I have a very aged voice. My voice is very mature for my age or whatever. So they said they didn't want to date me, but then they ended up dating me with all these throwback songs.
Sure.
So so me and Paul Markovich, who is the Voice's band director, we sat down and we talked about it, and we did a run through before we started the taping for our rehearsals. We just sang through the song like 1 or 2 times, and it started to grow on me. And so by the time it got to what you saw on TV, like I actually got to a point where I was like, oh, okay, maybe it is a good song.
Yeah.
And then I was fortunate enough to be able to choose my blind audition song, which was A Song for You by Donny Hathaway, which is very near and dear to my heart because, like, if you're a musician or a singer, you have to love or respect or admire Donny Hathaway.
Sure, absolutely.
So it was a very big moment for me to be able to like pay homage to a great musician and singer like that. So
Well, let's talk about how your life has changed. Give us an idea of what your life was like before The Voice and then after.
before The Voice, no money. After The Voice, still no money. I'm just playing. Nah, but before The Voice, I was like they said on TV, I was working at Starbucks, which actually was very, very fun. I enjoyed working at Starbucks, and I also was working at Champ Sports. So I was working a regular 9-to-5 job, and I was also leading worship at my church home, New Spring in Anderson, and we do have a campus here. What's up, New Spring? And so I was doing that, and I was heavily, and I'm still heavily involved in the church, but right now I'm not as involved due to the simple fact because now after The Voice, I have a lot of people booking me for
busy,
shows
sure.
and making appearances and just like signing babies' foreheads and.
Well,
and
do you
all
have
of
time
that.
to work on your own music now?
Yes, I do, and honestly, this is something that I never thought would actually happen to the point of where like now we're thinking about like Delvin Choice record. So be on the lookout for that within the next. I'll give myself a year for a full record, but my goals are to at least have a single out by September, and then also have like a 5-track EP at least by like the end of the year, starting towards the middle part of January.
So no rest for the weary, you are still on it.
I tell people, I say I will rest when they glue my eyes and my lips shut and they put me in that ground. There's work that has to be done.
Sure,
so,
but it's work you enjoy.
Yeah, for the most part, I really do enjoy it. Because just like the comedian had said earlier, what's his name?
Mike Goodwin.
Mike Goodwin, yes, we can edit that. Just like Mike Goodwin said, you know, what he was talking about, damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on, what were you talking about?
That's okay,
Oh,
that's okay. Well, I have a question for you though.
All right,
Another
go
question
ahead,
for you.
do it, because
it
was a good point.
How was it working with Coach Adam?
Yeah.
Adam Levine.
It was awesome. The sexiest man alive? Come on now.
According to some people's standards.
According to some people's standards, he is the sexiest man alive. I personally feel like, you know, Blake Shelton is the sexiest man alive. Just
How
because,
are their coaching abilities?
Oh man, yo, the coaching abilities, their coaching abilities is like here, but like like the camaraderie between all four of them is just like just sky high.
Did you learn a lot from them?
Yes, I did. I learned number one thing I learned from Usher, who was not my coach, but I learned that luck favors the prepared. And that's something that he told his team, and that's something that, you know, that we heard a lot. And also from Adam, basically, you know, finding that way to not only embody the song, but just like live it out on stage even more. Right. You know, like I had training prior to being on the show, but I mean, like it's different when you're hands-on with a superstar who does it for a living.
Right.
So,
and being on the stage, you have to almost amplify your performances. It's
God,
not just
yes.
like singing in church.
Yeah. It's a difference between singing in church, singing on a stage, and then singing on a stage that's being broadcasted to
nationally,
like
globally,
everywhere,
yeah.
globally, yeah. And so it's pretty cool to be able to get tweets or emails or messages from people in Brazil or Venezuela and like all these different places, Africa, China, and just say like, yo, like we admire you for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So during that moment of my life, which was essentially the like high moment, was also like one of the hardest moments as well too. So getting that encouragement from everybody and getting love from everybody, it really, really helped me out a lot.
And talk about your family support briefly. How has that been?
It is so amazing to the point where it's sickening. Like my mom and dad are like the biggest supporters I could like. They're the best.
They're supposed to be.
They're the best. They're supposed to be, but I mean, like, of course, you do have to think about reality. There are some parents, especially by my parents being ministers. My dad's a pastor, my mom's a minister, and I'm singing secular music. You know, like it's just almost like with Suge back on The Color Purple. You know, so it's literally one of those things where it's just like I'm fortunate enough to have parents that say, you know, like my son is doing something that he believes in and that he's dreamt about doing all of his life. So I want to support this.
Yeah. Well, Delvin, we are all so proud of you, as your family and all your supporters are. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, when we come back, Delvin performs. You don't want to miss it.
Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yeah, here I am, baby. Signed, sealed.
Let's stay together.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do, it's all right with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. And I want to spend my whole life with you. And I say since we've been together, loving you forever is all I see. Let me be the one you come running to. I'll never be untrue. Ooh, baby, let's stay together, loving you whether times are good, bad, happy or sad. Ooh, yeah. Whether times are good or bad, happy or sad, say why somebody, why people break up, oh, and turn around and make up. I just can't see you'd never do that to me. Would you, baby? Being around you is all I see. That's why I want us to let's stay together, loving you whether times are good, bad, happy or sad, good or bad, happy or sad, times are good or bad, happy or sad. Let's stay together.
I'd like to thank all of our guests this morning.